Five Nights at Freddy's launched in movie theaters last week, and it opened huge. It opened to $80 million. A movie that, by the way, only, I believe if I understand it right, it only cost them $20 million to make, if I'm not mistaken, like $20 million to make Five Nights at Freddy's. And it opened with a domestic box office of $80 million, which is huge. The question is, was it good enough to get word of mouth pumping that it's so good that more audiences come back the following week, that you get return audiences, all that kind of stuff? And unfortunately, it looks like Five Nights at Freddy's took not just a bad second weekend drop off, it took a historic second weekend drop off. This comes to us from the folks over at Variety, who write the following. Five Nights at Freddy's collapsed at the box office, but still managed to emerge on top. It was still number one. Universal and Blumhouse's fall sleeper hit has collected $19.4 million in its second weekend, resulting in a massive 76, closer to 75, but whatever, 76% decline from its debut. Despite the dramatic drop, Five Nights at Freddy's earned far more than anybody expected with its $80 million opening weekend. So the second weekend ticket sales are still decent for the $20 million budgeted film, which landed simultaneously on the streaming service of Peacock. All right. So the movie opened magnificently, like, especially when you consider that it opened day and date on Peacock, which is really more of a testament that Peacock doesn't have a lot of subscribers. But still, for a $20 million movie to open with $80 million, absolutely incredible result for them. Now, I did not personally think the movie was very good. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't think it was terrible. I think it definitely had some upside, but I was pretty direct with you guys. I did not think it was great. I think it's a very sloppily made movie. I think if it was the exact same movie made with the exact same quality, but it wasn't Five Nights at Freddy's, I don't know if many people would say they liked it. But I mean, look, it's all subjective. It's art. It all hits us in different ways. But clearly, not a lot of people got motivated to run out and go see it on its second weekend. Because whenever a movie takes more than a 60% drop, like we all go, ooh, like that's bad. 65% drop? Oh my God. 70 is considered a disaster. And a 75% drop in its second weekend? I'll be honest with you, I can't think off the top of my head of another movie that's done that. I'm sure they're out there. I'm just saying it's just off the top of my head. I can't pull out numbers. Now, there is, to me, one giant asterisk that you got to put beside this massive second weekend drop, and that is this. There are a number of people who have Peacock that still decided to go and see it in theaters, right? Now, those people, if they want to watch the movie again, I don't think they're going to go back to the theater to see it for the second time. Maybe they want to see it for the first time on the big screen. But now that you've seen it and you had the big screen experience, if you want to watch it again, well, it's on Peacock and you can just sit at home and watch it on Peacock. Now, again, Peacock doesn't have a huge number of subscribers. But still, I think you have to take that into consideration a little bit about the second weekend drop-off, that there are going to be some people who maybe in another world would have gone back to the theaters again to see another running of it, but they just didn't need to see it for the second time in theaters. They just stayed home. I think that you saw a little bit of that with Black Widow, Sean. When Black Widow came out, because it was also available on Disney Plus. And I think Black Widow also made $80 million in its opening weekend and then had a pretty significant second. I don't think it was 75%, but a pretty significant second weekend drop off because people, well, now I've seen it once in theaters. Now I can stay home and watch it. But still, even with that, Sean, that 75% is pretty big. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Fume. Quitting cold turkey is great in theory, but you and I both know it's way more difficult than that. And that's why there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're not talking about some fake online promises. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume. And they look at the problem in a different way. Instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavor air device that does just that. See, instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. You get Get it? Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. I personally didn't know what to expect when I first got my Fume. I mean, I've never liked vapes, but my goodness, the taste. The first time I tried it, I was completely sold on it. It was incredible. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 150,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. You gotta try the new Solano Fume. It's made with a premium walnut barrel and an onyx-coated mouthpiece that has a slightly softer finish. Start the holidays off right with the good habit by going to tryfume.com/Campea and getting the Journey Pack today. Fume is giving listeners of the show 20% off until December 1st when they use my code Campea to help make starting the good habit that much easier. So start the good habit at tryfume.com/Campea to save an additional 20% off the Journey Pack today until December 1st and 10% off year-round. What did you think about the movie itself, and what would you attribute, like that staggering number, which, by the way, still number one at the box office? I mean, nothing else really came out to kind of take its place, so it's still number one. What did you make of this?
Yeah, so as for me, I've seen the movie 3 times because I use my time wisely. So I have an 11-year-old. He is the audience. This was his most anticipated movie of all time. I took him to the press screening. It was like, should I take him to the horror movie about abducted kids killing people? And this is his favorite movie of all time. He's the target audience, 11-year-olds, entry-level horror. And then he watched it 2 times at home on Peacock. His mother, he just wanted her to see it so he could talk to her about the lore. So then we've watched it together as a family 2 times since it came out on Peacock. So even to what you said, that's what happened. That at least in my household. I mean, I thought it was fine as entry-level horror. If this is what helps get my son into movies, then I get excited about that. Independent of that, it was fine. Nothing particularly interesting. Some fun animatronics, I guess, but that's about it. But as a dad that wants my son excited about stuff like this, that was fun. But I mean, I think it's a super front-loaded audience, the way that a Marvel movie has a front-loaded audience, but no casual fans. You're either a diehard that wants to go opening night, or you're like, what is Five Nights at Freddy's? There's none of that in between. And the reviews, the word of mouth was, if you're not a diehard for Five Nights at Freddy's, why would you ever go see this movie? It won't make any sense. It's all over the place. And therefore, they didn't go back. The people that did want to rewatch it, you can rewatch it on Peacock as many times as you want if you sign up for a month. And if you're anybody else, you skip it. So it just fell off. And one other factor, Halloween. You go Halloween weekend to see the new horror movie, and now we're in November, so there's a drop-off too. But I think it's that combination of front-loaded, bad reviews for the casual viewers, and then Peacock is stealing all of the repeat viewers.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.